Hello, it's 8 o'clock this Friday morning. I'm James Chow with 30 minutes of the world news. In our lead story, Chinese President Hu Jintao has convened a meeting to discuss issues relating to the Xinjiang riot of the Politburo Standing Committee of the Chinese Communist Party Central Committee. Late on Wednesday, leaders told relevant authorities to isolate and to crack down on the tiny few and to unify and educate the majority. The meeting pointed out that the Urumqi riots was deeply political and a cruel criminal incident plotted by overseas separatism, terrorism and extremism. The meeting stressed that stability in Xinjiang is the most important and pressing task. It emphasized that relevant policies should be implemented at every workplace and for every person. The meeting stressed that all ethnic groups must be united. It called on the party committee and government at all levels to promote political insight. The meeting also vowed severe punishment for culprits in accordance with the law. Well, staying with our story, senior CPC leader Zhou Yongkang arrived in the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region on Thursday afternoon. He visited the injured at a hospital there and instructed the ongoing work of stabilizing the region. Zhou condemned the criminals who have killed the innocent and damaged property. During his visit to the hospital, he gave comfort to the injured as they received medical treatment. He highly praised the doctors and nurses and asked them to do their best to save the lives of those who've been badly injured. After leaving the hospital, Zhou visited the army and police, who are responsible for the stability of the locals. Well, Xinjiang authorities have revealed details of how separatist forces led by Rabia Kadir plotted and masterminded the riots that killed more than 150 and injured 1,000. Xinjiang government spokesman Ho Han-min said the separatist World Uyghur Congress, which is led by Rabia, held a special meeting on July 1st that planned to use a factory brawl between Uyghur and Han ethnic workers in Guangdong province to create chaos. The group plotted to instigate unrest by sending messages via the internet, telephones and cell phones. The content of the messages encouraged Uyghurs to take action on July 5th and 6th to support separatism and to put pressure on the Chinese government. On July 6th, Rabia held an emergency meeting of the World Uyghur Congress to make plans to further stir up both domestic and overseas demonstrations. She also held a press conference to put out distorted information on the riots. On July 7th, another Congress leader, Doko Nisa, said the violence would expand to other Chinese cities. Well, the regional capital of Urumqi is now returning to some semblance of normality. Paramilitary police are patrolling the city on the ground and in the air. Major roads have been cleared. Armored police and public security guards are visible on the streets, and there appears to be more people out on the streets than on the previous day. Meanwhile, helicopters have been patrolling over the area ever since the riots, cooperating with ground troops to prevent any more violence. Let's go now to another part of this story. Representatives from both religious and legal circles in Urumqi have condemned the riots on July 5th. They say the criminals severely violated the law and the principles of Islam, and that no one can avoid punishment if he or she does harm to others' properties and lives. Xu Daoqing files this story from Urumqi.
Over the last few days, the students in Xinjiang Islamic College retained their quiet lives on campus. They will all become archons after graduation. As future religious leaders, they say they will not allow similar instances of violence among Muslims.
None of us went out to join the violence. That's not what we should do.
Most people abide by the law. Only a small number of gangsters join the riot. They're bad people, but bad things can never prevail.
The college vice president Abdul Jakub is also a senior mullah. He said any decent Muslim would not like to see such things happen.
The principles of Islam never teach people to commit crime. What the rioters did contradicts our religion and violates the law. No one should be exempt from the law's punishment if they commit crime. We should protect the current situation of national unity as if we were protecting our eyes.
Order has gradually returned to Urumqi, including the city center where the most severe violence occurred several days ago. Legal scholars say the peaceful situation can only be maintained in a society ruled by law.
The rioters' crimes violate the law and challenges the bottom line of our morals. Everyone, no matter what ethnic groups you are, has to be treated equally by law. Only in a society ruled by law can people enjoy a stable environment and be well protected.
Scholars suggested that strengthening the people's consciousness of citizenship and ethnic unity would be part of future policy making. Over the last few days, I've talked to lots of local people. No matter what they do, how old they are, and what ethnic groups they are, they all express strong desire for stability. And they believe only a society ruled by law can guarantee their normal life and work. Riots, CCTV, Urumqi, Xinjiang.
Also in Xinjiang, the government there says they've made great efforts to help international journalists with their coverage of the situation. These include helping them gain access to religious figures and local academics. Meanwhile, media groups across the world have praised the government's handling of the foreign press in the aftermath of the riots, and they say they've been able to work in both an open and transparent environment.
Very impressed with the degree of openness and the ability that we've had to report in Urumqi on what's been happening here.
I think that what the Chinese government is doing is beneficial for both the media and the government itself. We're able to cover the news immediately and objectively, and at the same time, China gets a good opportunity to communicate with the world. They have made great arrangements for the foreign media. Our reporting process went smoothly, and I'm quite satisfied.
Well, that wraps up our coverage of Xinjiang. We'll be back with more stories right ahead.